This is the start of my virtual library presentation, and this is what my virtual library looks like. I have the different tabs: contemporary historical fiction, fantasy, historical fiction, informational bibliography, literature representing diverse populations, poetry, science fiction, and traditional literature folktale. So for my overall experience of this assignment, I thought it went really well. I learned a lot about the different genres and the books within it. I think this project was very beneficial for us students because we got to kind of branch out and explore different genres of books on our own. For me, this project was useful because I am not a very avid reader, so this project helped me to branch out and appreciate reading more. What did I get out from this experience? After this project, I now have a better understanding of why reading is so important for students. I never really, like I said, was an avid reader growing up, but I now have found a passion for reading, and I actually really enjoyed reading these books. And I actually reread Because of Winn-Dixie and The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I read those books a couple years ago, and I reread them. Um, so, for my favorite book that I read, I picked The Boy in the Striped Pajama. I really like this book because it resonated with me a lot. I have family members that have lived through this horrible experience, and for one of my projects, I actually had to interview a family member that maybe grew up in this time era. So that was really interesting, and then it brought back just a lot of memories of when I had to do that project. Another book that I really enjoyed was Because of Winn-Dixie. And I read this book a long time ago when I was in grade school, but decided to reread it. And it made me reflect kind of on just the bond that the little girl and um, Winn-Dixie had throughout the story, and kind of made me think back about my old companions as dogs, and just being appreciative of that. I would say my least favorite books that I read were the You Wouldn't Want to Sail series. I didn't really care for these two books. There's a bunch of books that are titled like You Wouldn't Want to Be so and so, and I thought these books, they were really fun and engaging, and the pictures are very detailed. So I feel like students might gear their interest towards those. But I wouldn't really want to have my students rely on these books because they weren't a lot of uh, accurate information or fully accurate information with like dates and like detailed stuff. So not all the information is going to be super correct because I would put those under the category more towards, they were informational but maybe a little bit historical fiction. So if students had to do like detailed research papers, etc., I probably would have them use more reliable sources. And what books I would use, definitely, I loved reading the Gil Gibbons books. That was my author for the author study presentation. And in these books, they're very informational just about the different types of apples, how they grow, the size, and then this one was about different vegetables and kind of that growing process. She also wrote another one about from seed to plant, so it's about the seed process, the cycle of flowers, etc. And so these books are really great for kids to kind of start diving into basic topics. And I also really liked the Magic School Bus series, the book that I read on the human heart. Um, I felt like this book was really engaging as well and taught great subjects about like the human heart and the circulatory system. And lastly, another book that I really liked that stood out was The Bad Case of Stripes. We went through this book a little bit in class, but I really liked the message that was portrayed in this book. And it was about teaching students to be accepting about who they are and try not to be like everyone else. And I think overall, this is a very valuable lesson to teach students at a young age. So, all in all, this was my presentation, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.